All right, let's talk about this. We've all been there, right? Staring at the ceiling at 4 a.m., just knowing that your alarm is set to go off in a couple of hours. You feel like your sleep schedule is completely, totally broken, and you find yourself frantically searching online for that one magic trick that's going to fix it all, preferably by tomorrow.
And trust me, you are so not alone. This post from Reddit just hits the nail on the head. It perfectly captures that feeling of being completely out of sync with, well, the rest of the world. It's a huge problem, and the internet is absolutely flooded with so-called solutions.
And what's the number one piece of advice you see everywhere? Just power through. Pull an all-nighter, completely exhaust yourself, and then your body will reset when you collapse into bed at a normal time the next day. I mean, it sounds logical, doesn't it?
Well, yeah, but it's not. While it's probably the most popular hack out there, sleep experts all agree pulling an all-nighter is actually one of the worst things you can possibly do. It's like putting a tiny little Band-Aid on a massive problem. And worse, you could be setting yourself up for chronic insomnia down the road. Let's dig into why.
So let's just imagine a guy named Mike. He wakes up at 9 a.m. and he decides, today is the day. I'm going to pull an all-nighter and fix this thing. He pushes right past his usual 3 a.m. bedtime, chugging coffee and energy drinks. But then, at 11 a.m. the next day, after being awake for 26 straight hours, he hits an absolute wall. That caffeine crash is no joke. He lies down for what he thinks is going to be a quick nap and wakes up at 7 p.m., a full 8 hours later. His plan is completely wrecked, and his schedule is now even more of a mess than before.
Okay, so if the all-nighter is a total myth, what actually works? The most important thing to get is that your sleep isn't controlled by one simple on-off switch. Nope, it's governed by two completely distinct, super powerful systems that have to work together.
First up, we've got your circadian rhythm. Now, just think of this as your body's master clock. It's tucked away in a part of your brain, and its whole job is to run a 24-hour cycle, telling your body when to pump out cortisol to wake you up and when to release melatonin to make you feel sleepy. And here's a fun fact: if you left it to its own devices without any outside cues, our natural clock actually runs a little longer than 24 hours.
In the second system, that's what we call sleep pressure. From the very moment your eyes open in the morning, a chemical called adenosine starts to build up in your brain. The longer you're awake, the more of it you get, and the stronger your desire to sleep becomes. This is that physical feeling of tiredness that just gets heavier and heavier as the day goes on.
So the real secret to fixing your sleep schedule is getting both of these systems perfectly in sync. Let's start with the first one. How do you actually recalibrate your master clock, your circadian rhythm?
See, your internal clock is kind of lost without a little help from the outside world. It needs daily cues. Think of them as anchors to keep it locked into the 24-hour day. The big one, the most powerful signal of all, is morning sunlight. But other things that happen at the same time every day, like when you eat, when you exercise, or even when you hang out with friends, can all act as little checkpoints that tell your body, hey, this is what time it is.
And this leads us to what is without a doubt the single most important rule of all: consistency. Waking up at the same time every single day, and yes, I mean every day, even on weekends, is the number one thing you can do. When you sleep in, you're basically shifting your body's clock, creating something called social jet lag. That awful Monday morning feeling? That's you giving yourself a mini dose of jet lag every single weekend.
Now, to make that morning wake-up call really count, your brain needs bright light. The magic number you're aiming for is at least 10,000 lux. And I know that sounds like a crazy high number, but you can get it super easily from just a few minutes of direct sunlight, even if it's a cloudy day. And hey, if you can't get outside, a light therapy lamp is designed to do the exact same thing. Send a powerful signal to your brain that says, okay, it is officially time to be awake.
But getting your body clock calibrated is huge. But it's only half the story. Now we've got to tackle that second system, managing your sleep pressure, that buildup of adenosine that actually makes you feel tired.
Just a quick reminder, right? That sleep pressure builds all day, every minute you're awake, creating this powerful urge to sleep. And the only way your brain can wash it all away and reset is, you guessed it, by actually sleeping. When you sleep, your brain gets to work clearing out that adenosine, which is why you wake up feeling refreshed.
Now, this is where so many of us go wrong. Let's talk about caffeine. Caffeine is a master of disguise. It doesn't actually get rid of that sleepy chemical, adenosine. It just blocks the receptors in your brain so you can't feel the sleepiness. The huge problem is how long it sticks around. Caffeine has a half-life of about 5 to 8 hours. That means that coffee you had at 2 in the afternoon, by 10 p.m., half of that caffeine could still be swimming around in your system, actively blocking the sleep pressure you desperately need to feel tired.
And if you're still not convinced how powerful this stuff is, listen to this. In a hospital, doctors literally use adenosine to treat patients with dangerously fast heart rates. As Dr. Violin explains, a direct injection can sometimes temporarily stop a person's heart completely. That just shows you how potent this sleep-inducing chemical really is. Naps are another thing that can totally throw a wrench in your sleep pressure. Now, don't get me wrong. A short, strategic nap, like under 30 minutes, early in the afternoon, that can be great for alertness. But the problem starts when you nap for too long or too late in the day. You end up releasing too much of that adenosine you've been building up, which makes it way, way harder to fall asleep when your actual bedtime rolls around.
So this is where the real magic happens. The holy grail of good sleep is when you get these two systems to peak at the exact same time. You need high sleep pressure making you feel tired right as your body clock is releasing melatonin to make you feel sleepy. And how do you orchestrate that perfect meeting? With a solid wind-down routine.
Think of the last hour or two before bed as your pre-flight checklist for sleep. First, set an alarm. Yeah, an alarm to go to bed, to signal it's time to start winding down. Dimming the lights tells your circadian rhythm, hey, it's melatonin time. Cooling your room helps your core body temperature drop, which is another huge trigger for sleep. And this is a big one. Disconnect from your devices. Relax your mind with something calm like a book or some light stretching. All of this prepares you for that final step, total, complete darkness for the best sleep possible.
I love this analogy because it's just so true. You can't just flick a switch and expect your brain to turn off. Sleep experts say it's way more like landing an airplane. It's a gradual process that needs time, preparation, and a long, clear runway to descend smoothly into rest.
So let's just forget about the all-nighter myth, okay? The real fix is about building small, consistent habits that get your body's two master switches working together. It's not going to happen overnight, but by making these small, science-backed changes, you absolutely can get there. So the only real question is, what's the one small change you're going to make tonight?